Ronnie, you're in acquisitions for Freedom, right? We're an acquisitions company.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're talking to sellers all the time. Like, what are you seeing now with the market?
Yeah, so locally here in Rahway, like one thing that I encourage people to do is, pay attention to what's happening in the market. But what happens normally, you guys know, is like they're always a couple of like months behind. So what concerns me sometimes if, maybe some guy wanted, let's say 400, right? But he wants his house is worth 400, but he wants that 450. So he's like waiting. But what happens like now that the market is turning, but you're a little bit behind, like it's sad because like they might not even get the 400, right? It's weird, right? Because now you're trying to have a conversation with them, you're trying to help them. But if they're at 450, but they thought their house was worth 4, but it's actually only dropping, it's like you're so almost far apart.
You're chasing the market at that point.
Yeah. So now when they finally decide to list it at that 400, they think it should be easy peasy, and it's not, because
it changed again at that point. Right.
So now you're just chasing your tail and no one's happy, right? Like I know the sellers aren't happy, right? Because they were told maybe one thing, or they were under the impression they can get this. And, most of the times you think you have all the time in the world, and unfortunately that's not true for sellers. So I think on my part, what I'm trying to do is just incentivize them to take a look, maybe ask an agent for comps. Hey, what's going on? Like, maybe reevaluate what your house is worth, because as you guys know, like in a hot market, a house is on a double yellow, traffic nonstop. It doesn't matter. It's going to sell, right? But things change when it starts turning into like a buyer's market, right? Now those things matter. Like, I don't want that house with the double yellow. I want the other house. There's less buyers now because like we spoke about the interest rates. Right, so the interest rates are rising. That means more and more people are out the buyer's market. They can't afford to buy that same house anymore. So now you have a smaller buying pool, and now your house is the one with the dogs barking every day next door, right? Maybe that didn't matter a couple months ago, but it matters now, right? So I think that's what I'm concerned for sellers, is them not understanding where we are in the market. And I know for me, they're not too happy when I try to explain it, which is fair, right? This is something this is important. They worked hard to make these payments monthly, so they should get the most they can. It's just not the time right now. Maybe a couple months ago, it's a different conversation, but just take a look at what's for sale and look at the price cuts if you think I'm lying,
And we're in this like every day, right? This is full time for all of us. And, we see things and they change so quickly, right? On a day-to-day basis. Like, how many rate hikes were there, right, within the last month? Like 2?
Yeah.
3?
How many are we getting? Like, it's not over.
What else? Yeah, the uncertainty part of it, right? And we're seeing a lot of fear in the marketplace, even from our lenders' side, right? People are just not sure what the hell is going on. So I think all around we got to be focused and always paying attention to the now rather than what's happening or what happened a couple of months ago.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, if I can kind of recommend something for anyone buying, like update your pre-qualification letter, trying to gauge where you're at now. And for anyone selling, just get a gauge for what's happening, right? Like, someone like me can call, they can probably help you for sure. You can ask your local agent, and just ask. It's just good to know, to see where you're at. If you plan on selling, maybe the time is now, maybe it's not, right? But it's important to know so you can take full advantage.
Yeah, you named a few good sources, right? You said the agents, like talk to real estate agents.
Definitely.
Mortgage brokers.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
You can always ask your local real estate company. And I think I would say if that's probably your best bet, if you want to take it to the next level, reach out to an appraiser, right? They'll be able to tell you exactly what your house is worth if if you're ready to take that step. It does cost you a little bit of money. But once again, if you're serious about selling, I would definitely get a feel for what you want.
Are we still buying in this market, Ronnie?
Yeah, we definitely are. Like I said, we're full time, right? This is what we do. There's nothing else. Like, so we have to figure it out. And we have to figure it out on our part, and we do a good job. But are we running it more conservative? Because we also don't know what's happening, right? There's a lot of unknown, like you said. So we have to be careful as well, right? So, that's something we keep in mind. I'm not, saying something that I wouldn't say if I was off the air, right? Like, this is real. Like, we are conservative. We don't know what's going to happen. So just be careful for sure.